It's time for the Potawatomi Fire Coaches Corner. Featuring two-time TBL Coach of the Year, Fire Head Coach Mark Danoff. With special guest, Fire Center Ricky Bryce Jr. And now here's the host of the Coaches Corner, Chris Cox.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Coaches Corner here on the Potawatomi Fire Broadcast Network. I'm Chris Cox. I'm joined by Fire Head Coach Mark Danoff. And Coach, thanks for joining me again today.
No, always a pleasure, Chris.
Coach, looking back at last week, y'all had another back-to-back and had another pair of victories to move to 16-1 on the season. How'd you feel about how y'all played last weekend?
Well, I think anytime you come out of a back-to-back with two victories, you got to feel pretty good. Mm-hmm. Really proud of our guys throughout the entire season. We met this morning, had a little team meeting before practice, one of our best practices of the year. Just trying to make sure that we're focused still on the task at hand and understanding of what's left for us to accomplish in terms of regular season and moving on into the playoffs. So I thought it was a terrific weekend for us.
When you talk about staying focused, we'll talk a little bit more about that when we talk about the Little Rock game coming up this weekend. But when you talk about staying focused and you play teams that you've played several times throughout the season, and those are still the only teams left on your schedule in the regular season, you know, what's kind of your message to the guys about remaining focused?
Well, we can't become complacent,
okay,
you know, and we can't assume just because the previous games went our way that this one will as well. You know, obviously rosters change, teams improve throughout the year. You become really familiar with each other. So there's not a whole lot of surprises one way or the other. So you really got to continue to focus on yourself and grow and improve in the areas that you feel you need improvement.
I think one of the big storylines coming out of last week, and at least for me, is the depth of this roster. Now, you've talked all season about how just about everybody on your bench could go and start for any other team in TBL. But with the additions of KT Baucom and Ricky Bryce Jr., it really adds even more depth to that. And we saw that with two good games from KT Baucom and from Isaiah Wade specifically.
Yeah, really pleased with Isaiah, just how he's matured and grown throughout the year. I thought we saw it, the second half of the season when he joined us a year ago. Really love his energy. I love his basketball IQ in terms of finding open areas, cutting, reading his defender, and creating opportunities for himself and for us to score. KT Baucom, I thought he had a terrific debut this weekend. Was really good the first night. Just, feeling his way through what we're doing because he only had, 3.5 days practice. It was light that first day he was here, but he's picked up things so well and continues to grow into the things we do. And he's exciting to watch. And I thought he played well the next night. I didn't think as a team we played, real well, but those back-to-backs are hard. And sometimes you just have to win ugly.
Yeah, you mentioned those back-to-backs being hard. There's a lot that goes into it, but why do you think those back-to-backs, what do you think is the hardest part about them?
Well, I think the big thing is we're talking about grown men, and I feel like our guys are very professional and they do the right things to prepare their bodies, prepare their minds. We try to get the right amount of rest. We try to hydrate. We try to eat right. We do things, stretching and we get up in the morning. We just don't lay around all day.
Yeah.
But when you play, and at 5:30 the night before, you're in the gym, you're getting loose, you're getting ready, and you play at 7 and you're not getting done till 9:30. And by the time you get home and unwind, it's 11, maybe 11:30, 12. And then you turn around and you want to do the whole thing all over again. It's less than 24 hours. You're back in the gym, preparing to do it again. And it's a physical game. It's very wearing on your body and your mind. But, those teams that do the right things and take care of themselves throughout the season seem to fare well in those back-to-backs.
And while you obviously don't want to keep playing back-to-backs every weekend, because I think it's been 4 straight weekends that you've had back-to-backs, they do help prepare you, though, for the playoffs with the way that the TBL playoff structure is set up.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, in our case, at least early on, we'll have to go on the road and have a travel day. But after that, if it keeps going, you're going to have to play back-to-back, and you're going to have to manage playing time. You're going to have to manage the rotations that you have, and you got to manage your body at the same time. So it's really been good for us, even though it's been hard.
Yeah.
But the fact that we've come out of it as well as we have is really a credit to our guys.
When you look at last week's individual games, the Friday night game against Little Rock, I think went almost as well as you could imagine. You got off to a bit of a slow start against Little Rock, but really after that first media timeout in the first quarter, things were going y'all's way, and y'all were kind of just finding that rhythm once again.
Yeah, I thought once we, got our rhythm, both defensively and offensively, we started to, really play well. I thought we had a terrific night that night. Just took advantages of the mismatches, the opportunities that were presented to us. I thought our defense just continued to rise in energy and activity, which gave Little Rock a hard time and allowed us to build a significant lead where we were able to go deep into the bench. And as well, those guys came in, there was no let up in the energy or the execution. So I thought it was a really good game for the Fire.
Yeah, you mentioned earlier about KT Bocham's debut, 25 points, I think 7 rebounds, 4 assists for KT, about as well as that could have gone for him.
No, absolutely. KT's just been we're fortunate to have him. He's just been really good for us. I think he's picked up on things so quickly. He contributed day one. He was welcomed with open arms and embraced, and I think he's really happy to be here, and we're happy to have him.
Isaiah Wade in that game got a little bit beat up, a little bit bloodied, cut under his eye, but still finished 20 and 10. I think probably when you look at all of that and the physicality that he was having to face, probably his best game of the season.
Yeah, he's just really playing well. I mean, I felt for him a little bit. He got hit in the face early, and I know he was pretty upset about that. And then I think he was more upset at the fact that he had to come out of the game, because of the injury or the hit, and he lost some playing time. But, once he was looked over by the doctors and by our training staff, and they said he's good to go, he was going to get plenty of minutes in the second half. And, he got beat up again in the second half, but, he was able to take the hits and keep getting up and keep moving forward.
That game against Little Rock, it was really all about balance, both on offense and defense. Offensively, 3 players finished with double-doubles, 7 players finished with at least 12 points, and then defensively, 9 players recorded a steal, 5 different guys had a block shot. I mean, everyone had their moment on Friday.
Yeah, everybody was really at top of their game and playing well on the offensive end. We were sharing the basketball. We were executing the things that we wanted to do on that end of the floor. Defensively, we had high activity. We were guarding the point of attack. We were getting good rotations. We were protecting our rim. And especially in the first half, we didn't allow any second chance points. Or I think they had a couple, but we really limited their offensive rebounds.
And then in that Enid game on Saturday, you kind of alluded to it already, but not the prettiest game in the world for y'all, but you were still able to get the win.
Yeah, and sometimes you're just not going to play at the level that you're used to playing at. You're gonna have some moments in games, and we've seen that throughout the year. But for the most part, I thought we just continued to grind and get through it. And we missed a lot of easy shots in the first half, and even in the second half, I thought we were getting good looks. And sometimes when that happens, it affects your defense. But I still thought our defense continued to battle. Once we got really flowing into our rotations and into some of our traps and things like that, it created some offense for us. But even when things weren't going well, you could see on our guys' faces, they understood. They leaned on each other, like we talked about. They stayed connected. They weren't going to let any adversity or any outside distraction affect them. They just continued to grind. I think we built it up. I think we got up by 24 late or something like that, and it went from there. But I will say, I thought Enid played extremely hard, played extremely well. I thought Devin Harris had a really good night.
Yeah.
Shot the ball extremely well, and they did a lot of really nice things. And the coach is doing a great job there.
Individually in that game, Chuck Guy really leading the way for your Fire. I mean, he leads the team every single game, but very rarely does he have the statistical night like he had on Saturday. 29 points, 4 rebounds, 13 assists, and a new team record with 9 steals. I mean, he really just did it all.
I didn't realize he had that many steals till really late. And then all of a sudden he said, it's 9. I broke the record. And I was like, I didn't even know what the record was.
Yeah,
but,
he had it at 7.
Yeah, so you hear me say it a million times. Chuck does what he does. He's a leader on and off the court. He's the guy that keeps us going down the path that we need to go to be successful. He ignites our defense right from the start at point of attack. His communication, constantly talking, and then on offense, getting us into the things we want to do, getting the ball to the right people in places where they can be successful. He just had a terrific game.
Looking a little more big picture, y'all are now 16-1 on the season. You've stretched your home winning streak to 46 games, I believe is what it is. I know last year during the run to the undefeated season and the second straight championship, we talked a lot about the history that was being made, but that history's continued really into this year. Do you ever allow yourself to just kind of step back and just think about what's been going on over this past 2, almost 3 seasons that you've been here?
Honestly, not really.
Okay.
I think right before I think there was a post or something on social media about how many home games in a row it had been, and I was kind of caught off guard because I just don't think about it. We just don't talk about it in our locker room. We just go play every game, and we're focused on that game, and when it's over, we prepare for the next. But it's an amazing and remarkable accomplishment. You know, we also know it may not last forever. Yeah. Like most things don't. So we're just going to continue to keep playing to the best of our ability, and if it continues to extend, we're excited about that. But I think a lot of these guys that have been here through it all are really leaving a legacy here that it'd be tough to match.
Well, I think that's a good place to pause right now. Let's go ahead and take a break, and when Coach and I come back, we'll talk about this weekend's opponent, the Little Rock Lightning. This is the Coach's Corner here on the Potawatomi Fire Broadcast Network.
Are you ready to elevate your business with a new technology partner? Vive provides lightning-fast fiber internet up to 10 gigs, along with powerful technology solutions that enhance your security, productivity, and efficiency. Our dedicated team of business consultants will identify your business needs and recommend solutions to address your challenges. Don't wait. Claim your free technology evaluation today. Visit business.vivebroadband.com and discover why Vive is the premier choice for your business success.
It's a quarter after 1.
Lady A, live in concert. Friday, June 20th, 8 p.m., Grand Casino Hotel and Resort. 7-time Grammy Award winners, Lady A. On sale now at grandboxoffice.com. Lady A Live.
Welcome back to the Coach's Corner here on the Potawatomi Fire Broadcast Network. I'm Chris Cox. I'm joined by Fire head coach Mark Danoff. And Coach, just one game this weekend. It's a road game against Little Rock. I know we talked about these back-to-backs, how difficult those can be, but how they also prepare you for the playoffs. I'm glad though that I'm sure you're glad that you only have the one game this week.
Yeah, we're almost ecstatic about it, you know. But you know, it's going to be a really tough game. Anytime you go on the road to play anybody in this league, it's always difficult. Little Rock has certainly shown how good a team they really are, and how much they've improved throughout the year, especially their roster and adding some pieces. So it's always going to be a big challenge going to Little Rock.
Yeah, and I think that trip to Little Rock, it's one of those things that it's just close enough to where you don't want to go necessarily the night before, but it's far enough away to where it makes the bus ride feel longer than maybe it actually is. Yeah,
definitely, because it all happens in one day if you do it that way. Certainly the older your team is, the more it affects them. Right. But, you know, we've got a crafty group of veterans who know how to take care of themselves, you know, things they need to do to prepare if we do travel the day of the game, depending where it is. But it's always difficult no matter where you go, who you play on the road. And if you can get out of there with a win, no matter whether it's 1 or 10 or 20 or 30, whatever it may be, we're pleased with the outcome, and the bus ride seems a little better on the way home.
From your standpoint as the coach, what's the difference between coaching when you know you're on a back-to-back or even playing 2 games in one weekend versus when you know this is the only game we have?
Well, you know, you try not to look beyond. Right. And we talk about the steps. Sometimes if we know we have a back-to-back and we're not going to have a lot of time to prepare, especially if it's a team early in the year when we haven't really seen them, we will try to, when we're preparing and we're guarding, you know, in our live stuff of some things they do or some actions that they do, especially if they're similar, that's fantastic. But if they're not, we may throw a an action or two from the second game in with the first one.
Okay.
Just so we can say, hey, listen, this isn't Little Rock, but it's Enid, and or whoever it might be.
Right.
Hypothetically, if that's who you're playing, but you can do that a little bit. Obviously, film is really important, and the whole week of practice. When there's a back-to-back, it's way more prep for those games throughout the week, not as much what we call practice. And like today, it's only one game on Friday, and today we got to actually practice. We did some things we think we need to get better at, prepare and break it down, and got after it, had a great practice. But as it gets closer, it becomes prep again. But when you don't have a lot of time and you got two teams, it's it's a back-to-back game, those practices need to be shorter. They really need to be more prep than practice, especially at this time of year.
When you look at Little Rock, you've already mentioned it, they have gotten better as the season's gone on. They've added some players, including Hunter Mickelson, Jeremiah Gilliam, but they haven't been able to string together those wins. Why do you think that is?
Well, they've got a few wins in there, but they've had a lot of close games.
Okay.
Sometimes it can just be travel. And as it gets down the stretch, it could be fatigue, it could be whatever. But I really like their team. I think they're talented. I think they're much deeper than they've been in the past. I think they've got some really nice pieces they've added, as you mentioned, Gilliam and Mickelson really changed their team. They've always been a good perimeter-oriented team, guys who can shoot, guys who can handle the ball, distribute, facilitate. But when you put it all together now, when they're playing and as their chemistry continues to grow, and they start sharing that basketball, they're a very difficult team to beat.
What's going to be key on Friday to get the win over Little Rock and move to 17-1?
Yeah, I mean, my hope is the things that we worked on today and we'll continue to work on throughout the week as we approach Friday and then into our preparation, we have that carryover. And even after our team meeting this morning, just about the things that we're locked in on and what it is we need to get better at and how we're going to do it and having a plan and then executing that plan and not being in a hurry, no shortcuts, take the time to get it right. Hopefully that carryover to the things we're trying to do on both ends of the floor will improve and help us get the victory on the road.
All right, Coach. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I'm going to take a break. When I come back, I will be joined by new Fire big man, Ricky Bryce Jr. This is the Coach's Corner here on the Potawatomi Fire Broadcast Network.
You know what this program needs? New Dr. Pepper Blackberry!
It's full Dr. Pepper! It's sweet blackberry flavor!
Bingo! There's even zero sugar!
And we got a new mascot too!
Try new Dr. Pepper Blackberry.
It's a pepper thing!
Get the most out of your Wi-Fi with Eero Pro 6 from Vive. Houses come in all shapes and sizes. Shouldn't your Wi-Fi too? Eero's True Mesh technology blankets your whole home in coverage. With the right Eero system, you can work, stream, game, and chat, powered by whole home award-winning Wi-Fi that works. Plus a simple, smart, and secure fiber-powered network that just keeps getting better with automatic updates. Visit 5broadband.com to get connected.
Welcome back to the Coach's Corner here on the Potawatomi Fire Broadcast Network. I'm Chris Cox, and I'm now joined by the newest member of the Fire, big man Ricky Bryce Jr.
Absolutely.
Ricky, thank you for taking a few minutes to sit with me today.
Oh, no problem, no problem. I got no time.
But before we talk basketball, can you tell me a little bit, who is Ricky Bryce Jr. beyond the basketball player?
Man, Ricky Bryce Jr. beyond the basketball player. He's a fun guy off the court. Just very humorous. Loves to be with his family. Loves to talk to his mom and dad all the time. Sisters as well. And so on and so on. I loved the game of basketball since I was yay high.
Okay.
So anything with basketball and anything with family, I'm totally fine.
Yeah, you mentioned your love of the game and how you're a pretty laid back like to have fun kind of guy. And I think, you know, for the people who were here for those 2 games last weekend, they saw that on the bench with you. Just, I mean, immediately you'd been here like a day when those games rolled around, and you were already fitting in, having fun, making guys laugh.
The reason behind that was just, you know, coach just said, you know, right off the back, I just need energy out of you.
Okay.
It's just one of those things. He said, you know, we just like energy, and he said, you bring a lot of that. You know, you can definitely, you know, help out, you know, off the court and on the court. You know, just by rebounding defensively, and you know, it was just your image on the floor. You know, he was like, the fans will love you. He's like, the city will love you, and just on top of that, you'll be a great addition to this team.
Can you kind of walk me through what your basketball journey has been like?
Yeah, I can.
Okay.
I can. It's been up and down.
Okay.
I've had a lot to come through.
Okay.
A lot to go through. I went to UNT. Went to University of North Texas for my grandmother. First off, my grandmother was you could say she was my best friend. She was my rock.
Okay.
I had a lot of opportunities to go to, you know, big schools, Oklahoma State, Kansas State, USC, Florida, you know, just a lot of big names. But I chose to, you know, go close to home because I wanted her to go to every home game.
Okay.
And I knew my grandma was sick, but every game that she was there, you know, it made me want to, you know, just hoop at her. So it was a drive. So that's why I chose University of North Texas. Then I left University of North Texas. I went to LSUA.
Okay.
Left there. After LSUA, I went to Saudi Arabia.
Okay.
Left Saudi Arabia, came home, COVID hit, and kind of made me sit back for a while. Joined the TBL.
Okay.
Played with Dallas Skyline. And after that, I think I took a couple months off, and that's when I went to China. And when I went from China, I went to China, to Guangzhou, to a lot of places over in Asia, and came home. Then I was blessed with an opportunity to go into the Asian tournament. The Asian tournament is a tournament that's owned by Dwight Howard and a couple of guys in Asia. And I made a name for myself. I played with a team called Zamboanga Valientes. And basically the same thing like Dan asked me, or Dan told me. The owner asked me, do you have energy? Like, could you bring, you know, just a championship to, you know, the city of Zamboanga? I said, absolutely. You know, I think I could absolutely do that if I have the time. You know, if you give me the patience. If you work with me, if you absolutely see my vision, absolutely, I can do anything possible. And from that point on there, it's a dream come true.
Good. All right.
Dream come true.
And I know, too, being a Dallas area guy, if I'm not mistaken, before you joined the Fire, you were already familiar with some of these guys, right?
Oh, man. Yeah, I grew up with these guys. Like, I grew up with Chuck. I grew up with TJ, who played on the last season. And, you know, playing with Rico. I played with these guys, you know, just on outside tournaments. And then familiar faces like Cam. I knew Cam back when I was in high school, and like coming here, it was just one of those things like, oh man, one of them like, oh wow, like, is that you? Like, did we play against each other? He was like, yeah. He was like, yeah, I think I knew you from Dallas. And I was like, wow. So like, it's a small world, but once we all come together for basketball, it's a good thing. Good things can happen.
So you are still new to the fire. I mean, you haven't been here even a full week yet. You already have a couple games under your belt, but what's been that learning curve like of trying to learn Coach Danoff, his system, and just kind of your role with this team?
My learning curve is basically like I'm literally trying, like you said, I'm not even a full weekend, and trying to learn Dan's plays, trying to learn the way Chuck organizes his team. I mean, Chuck is by far one of the greatest guards I've seen, just, off the court and on the court. And, just by the way he plays, you still can't understand him, like, just by being his teammate and by being, an opponent, because he's just so skilled.
Yeah.
And playing with these guys, these guys are quick. I'm a quick guy as well, but just organizing, just understanding the flow of how they are. It's going to take probably, just maybe a couple more days, but I definitely see by next game, I think I would definitely understand everything that's going on.
With 3 games left in the regular season, then obviously however many games the postseason has for you guys, what are kind of your expectations for yourself throughout the rest of the year?
My expectations for the rest of the year is basically repeat. I went to 2 championships overseas, and I know technically I didn't win 2 here. The 3P to me is basically the 3rd championship in my life. So basically, it would be my first one in TBL, but to me it'll be my third championship in a row. So it's not one of those defeats that I don't want to take. Like last game. Even though I had a couple minutes to play, I still gave all my energy, diving for loose balls, rebounding, make sure my teammates were to 100% off the court and on the court, cheering for my teammates, just doing the extra, doing whatever was necessary at that time.
Okay. Before we get you out of here, just a few get to know you questions that I like to end with, especially for you new guys.
Okay.
First, walk me through your pregame routine.
Oh, my pregame routine. Okay, first off, I pray to God. Gotta thank God every day. And just for the ability just to go out on the court, gotta thank Him. Gotta pray for no injuries. Gotta pray for my family back at home. And I close it off with that. After that, make sure I interact with the fans. I'm a happy guy. Like, I'm one of those guys, if I see a frown or if I see a straight face, I see that emotions are down, or I feel like I can raise an energy or raise the roof, in a sense, because I'm tall. So
yeah, there you go.
That's why I come in and I always interact with different people, because I have high energy. So it's one of those things. So I interact with the crowd, and after that, I definitely go into my stretching, definitely do my shooting game, definitely go inside out, and definitely I go from there, go back into the locker room, interact with my teammates. Definitely, if you couldn't tell, I do switch shoes for maybe you'll see me switch shoes like 5 or 6 times.
Oh, okay.
So it's one of those things, like if I'm not comfortable in my body, or if my feet aren't comfortable, okay, I definitely will switch off that. But if my mind's not comfortable, I will switch already. So sometimes you'll see me go 2 different shoes. Sometimes you'll see me go the same shoes.
Just whatever feels best that day.
Whatever feels comfortable, whatever feels best. You feel me? So my mom always told me, like, just be yourself.
Okay.
If you're yourself, no one can ever have anything bad to say.
What's in your headphones on game day?
Man, I listen to a lot of Lil Yachty. I listen to a lot of Fred Hammond. That's about it. I mean, of course Drake. Of course, some guys back home like Big X, the Plug. And of course my father. My father is in my head. Like he'll call me nonstop. Like he'll call me one of those things. Like he's my motivator.
Okay.
Like he's one of those dudes. Like he'll call you to make sure, like, hey, look, it's it's on and now. It's on and now. Like if you don't get it, the next guy will.
Yeah.
Yeah. Even though you don't get 1 minute, even if you get 20 minutes, make sure you give it your all.
Mm-hmm.
And so like, even if it's like 5 minutes before game time, my phone would be ringing. I was like, no, it's my dad.
Yeah.
No, it's my dad. So that will be the music, my dad, and just myself, just my thoughts.
You said you've been playing basketball since you were a little kid. What got you into basketball at first?
Okay, so it's a fun story. I'm sorry.
No, you're good.
So it's a little fun story. When I was born, my mom and my dad told me that the doctor and my dad were watching I believe it was the playoffs of the Phoenix Suns versus the Bulls.
Okay.
And my dad had played basketball at Houston Tillerson. It's a HBCU out of Austin, Texas. And my dad always played ball, and my mom just, was always in sports, played ball, when she was young. But me seeing my dad hoop at a very young age, I knew that was my gift.
Okay.
And the very first week I was born, I was very small. But the very next week, I tripled my size.
Oh my word!
I tripled my size in weight and weight and height. And the doctor came back and basically told my mom that I was off the growth, like I was off the growth percentile chart, and basically said that he's going to be a big kid.
Yeah.
And at that time, I was a kid being a kid.
Right.
And I didn't notice it until probably like second or third grade. I was really like the tallest one, and always the tallest one in the class. And yeah, it just stuck to me. Like the ball was just always there with me. No matter if I'm in PE, no matter if I'm in art class, no matter if I'm at lunch, I'm always thinking about a basketball. I'm in art class, and the title could be, third grade.
Right.
We're drawing cars, or we're drawing something.
Yeah.
I'm still doing something, drawing maybe a free throw line, or drawing some basketball. Just
something basketball.
Something
always.
Basketball. Always. So it you couldn't bring me a part of the game. The game has always been a part of it.
Who was your favorite player growing up?
Ooh, this is tough.
You're a Dallas guy. I'm from Dallas.
Oh.
So hopefully it's the same guy.
Oh, this is tough. You know what? I don't have just one player. And I'll tell you why. Like, I go by positions.
Okay.
So, like, I do top 5. Like,
Sure.
My favorite point guard of all time, is AI.
Okay. All right.
That's the coldest point guard. I'm talking about from crossover to the midi to, dunking. Just impeccable.
Yeah.
2, I definitely give to Kobe.
Okay.
Kobe is just that guy.
Yeah.
And then for sure, definitely 3, I'd give it to MJ. MJ definitely put his foot into the game and definitely changed the game and definitely changed history. And then definitely for 4, I give it for it's always hard. Always hard, because you want to put LeBron right there.
But is he 4?
But is he 4? Sorry, LeBron, like, I'm sorry. But is he 4? Like, he's really like the 3. He's really a 3. But like, if we're really talking facts right now, I gotta give it to either Dirk or Tim Duncan. Like,
We'll go with Dirk.
We gotta go with Dirk. We gotta go with the legend. The legend of just the midi with the fade away. Like that one is unteachable. Like, I do it so much, I had to learn how to just perfect it, and I'm still learning. Dirk, if you're ever watching this, please hit me up. In my 5th, I got to give it to Shaquille O'Neal. Got to, man.
Yeah.
Shaq was, just so dominant, at his prime, and like, if I put Shaq in this era, I still say Shaq will kill every beast.
Oh yeah.
And it was just great to see him play in his era, like, and the fact that I was able to see it. Now, if we're talking about just older players, now I can give you some older players than that. You'd be like, okay, Rick. Well, all right.
I don't know if we have that much time today, but yeah, no, I do appreciate you taking some time to speak with me. Thank you very much,
Chris. No problem. I love this.
That's going to do it for today's episode of the Coach's Corner. The Fire back in action this Friday as they visit the Little Rock Lightning. That game will take place at Hall High School in Little Rock with tip-off set for 7 p.m. You can watch the game online at tbltv.tv. You can also hear my call of the game on our radio partners at KGFF Radio. Of course, for more information on the Fire, be sure to follow the team on social media. You can find them on Twitter, X, Instagram, Facebook, or YouTube. You can also find more information on online at PottawatomiFire.com. That's going to do it for us today. For Fire head coach Mark Danoff and big man Ricky Bryce Jr., I'm Chris Cox, and I'll talk to you next time right here on the Potawatomi Fire Broadcast Network.
Bye, guys.